to another episode of the Nashville Scoop. I'm Chris McKenna.
I'm Craig Candidge.
And this is our first episode in probably a long series of Broadway episodes. So what we did this week was we went to 3 different places on Broadway and went and checked those out. We started out at Miranda Lambert's place. We headed over to
Casa Rosa.
Yeah, Casa Rosa. Kid Rock's bar was second, and then Tootsies is, I mean, you had to go to Tootsies, right?
It's a staple.
It's the first episode of our Broadway series, We won't be doing them, over the next, 3 weeks or anything. We're going to start scattering Broadway in every now and then. But, yeah, for the first Broadway episode, you definitely have to go and see Tootsies. So we started out at Miranda's.
We started out at Casa Rosa. I had been there a number of times.
Yeah, it was my first time there.
It's a good spot. It's the newest bar restaurant on Broadway, and really probably I've eaten at just about every one of them, and this is the only one that has food that I would consider edible. So we went in.
What makes you want to eat at all of the places on Broadway? What are you thinking?
Booze.
All right, yeah.
You're drinking and you've been there 4 or 5 hours and you get hungry. And there's not a lot of options.
I'll tell you, I don't think I've ever been that hungry we did obviously eat at Miranda's, and we'll get into that in a second. But
for review purposes.
Okay, yeah. Other than the review, I have to say when we ate yesterday was the first time I've ever eaten anything on Broadway. It's not typically, for anybody that hasn't been here, it's not really like the best looking area, where you're like, I could really get some good food in here.
Yeah, it's known for its drinking, not its eating.
Right, exactly.
So we started out at Casa Rosa, and the atmosphere in there is very pink, very girly, very Miranda.
There's a lot of pink.
There is a lot of pink. I mean, this is perfect for bachelorette parties.
That's exactly. Yeah, I mean, even though we were there in the afternoon, and I had never been there, even on a night, like a weeknight, weekend, you can just tell. That's it. That you're going to see about 55 bachelorette parties a night in this place. And
I mean, it's set up for it. So they got the eating areas on the second floor. They have a lot of large tables that can hold parties of 10, 12. Bar itself holds probably 20.
Yeah, they had the rooftop was closed.
It was. So weekdays we were there. Yeah, we were there at lunchtime. The other times I've been there has been, nighttime or on a weekend day. They do have the upstairs, which is open air. She's got the stage up there. There's a stage on the first floor as well. But
so what's the deal with her? She goes and performs there?
She does. So she doesn't own the bar. She's got naming rights and kind of profits from the bar a little bit.
Kind of the same idea with Kid Rock.
Kid Rock, same thing. Yeah, Steve Smith owns Tootsies and Kid Rocks and a bunch of other things. And Bob, Kid Rock, gets to he basically gets to run around the place and do whatever he wants there, which is fun because he goes in often and, mingles with everyone, walks around. He'll get on stage. I've had the pleasure of being in the Cadillac Pussy room with him in the past, and also with Steve Smith's son, BT, in there. And it's a good time. It's a good bar.
Nice. Yeah, it is.
Well, let's go back to Casa Rosa.
Yeah, we'll get into that one in a second. But
yeah, so atmosphere in there. This was a lunch atmosphere.
Yeah.
It was a Tuesday afternoon that we went, so it was a little bit, a little chill. We got right in, went straight to the bar.
Yeah. It was slow, but I mean, it's expected. We're not going there. I mean, what to expect when you go on a weekend night. And
it's shoulder to shoulder anywhere on Broadway, and that's why we did it this way, so we could get a little bit better look at it.
Exactly.
So
what'd you? So we sat down at the bar. What'd you end up getting?
I ended up getting a Modelo just because you're going to notice anything that we go to that's Mexican themed. I'm not a tequila guy, so I'm always going to get a different drink, and most of their specialty drinks were tequila, so I just went with a Modelo. I like them. It's simple, and we knew we were hitting a bunch of places, so I didn't want to have too many anyway.
Right.
I got a double cheeseburger. It was a Tex-Mex burger. They don't give you an option on how you want it cooked, but it came a pretty much a perfect medium. Burger was really good. It had avocado on it, had pickled onions, tomato, lettuce. It was a solid burger. As far as food quality and burgers in this town in general, there's a lot of good burgers in this town. So based off of that, I would give the burger a 7, but it's still a really good burger.
You're a high ranker.
I mean, this was a really good burger, especially for there. And I've had other things there, like chicken fajitas and steak fajitas and things. And her food actually is by far the best on Broadway for any of the bars.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah. In my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I had never eaten at any of those bars. But yesterday we grabbed lunch. I mean, to start out, I got a drink. I was looking at the drink menu. I wanted to kind of pull something off the specialty menu. I would like to do that as we go forward with most of our places. But, I mean, I'll be honest. I was looking at that menu, and it was just like, I felt like it was going to come out with some giant umbrellas and some shrubbery all over it and everything.
Sugary, fruity drinks.
Yeah, very sugary, fruity. Yeah. So I did stay away from
definitely
a specialty
catered
drink.
More to the
it's definitely female
umbrella drink fans.
Yes.
Which is great because
I didn't actually see anybody drinking anything with a giant umbrella or anything like that.
Neither.
But I just felt like, that's what they were going to do. Like a bell was going to start ringing or something, and they were going to be like, this guy just ordered this drink. Yeah, I couldn't do it. So I just went with like a staple of mine. I just went Jameson Ginger.
It's really the only bar down there that caters to the cowgirl opposed to the cowboy.
Right.
So it's actually good seeing that opposed to your typical just whiskeys and vodka drinks.
Yeah, I mean, we were definitely, the two of us in there together, we were definitely out of place. I think we were probably the only two guys in there at the time.
Yeah, there was a business meeting
lunch
in there.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was all girl
group. It was just us. So yeah, Jameson Ginger. One thing I will say is very weak drink. I mean, obviously you couldn't rank it. You just got a beer. But I got some form of a mixed drink. It was very weak.
One thing I noticed here is that they're very into the pouring measures. So I don't know if they got cameras on them at every bar with the bartenders or what, but the drinks get exactly what the drinks are called for. You don't get that extra pour like you do.
Yeah, no, I definitely didn't.
At say like a local bar.
Right.
So
I went and got the the brisket nachos. Came out. They looked really good at first glance. So presentation was nice and everything. The only thing that I'll say, it being brisket, like they gave me 4 big chunks of brisket scattered throughout this entire giant plate of tortilla chips, and that was it, right? So it was the meat very lacking.
There was some jalapenos scattered.
Oh, God. And I'll tell you,
like
there were more onions on this thing than I've ever seen on a plate of nachos in my life. So I was burping those things up until about midnight last night. Oh, it's brutal. But I mean, the taste was fine. The only other thing that I'll say is, like, have you ever been, obviously you've been to Chipotle or something like that. Like initially I had said ballpark queso. This is more Chipotle queso, I think. Okay. Yeah. I started thinking about it, and it was more like Chipotle. So I don't know if that really makes it better.
It was a liquid cheese rather than like a melted cheese.
There was no actual cheese on it. Yeah, it was a queso type cheese. So to me, that's cheap.
Easy way out.
Yeah, it's a cheap way of doing nachos and any type of Mexican food.
You got to figure too, they're catering to like get them in, get them out quick on Broadway. So I get
it.
Too.
It is what it is. Yeah. It's Broadway, So I mean, my expectations were definitely limited to begin with, but but yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, they made a good effort, I think. I mean, if I'm gonna rate the food, I mean, it's gonna be a 5. It's low, and that's kind of high too. But it was what it was. It was like a couple pieces of brisket tossed on tortilla chips and Chipotle queso and about 2 pounds of onions. So yeah, not great. I don't think. And if that's the best food on Broadway, I mean, I'm pretty happy I haven't touched the rest of the places on Broadway. So I probably won't now.
Yeah, you definitely are.
But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I got for Miranda's. I think that we didn't stay very long. We just stayed. We grabbed lunch, and then we bounced. We went to and we went right across the street. Went to Kid Rock's place.
Kid Rock's big ass Honky Tonk and Steakhouse.
Now this place I have been to.
At night or during the day?
At night. So the most recent time, my uncle was in town a couple weeks ago, and he hadn't been downtown in like 20 years or something. So this place has changed drastically since the last time he was here. So yeah, I took him to 2 staples. Well, one staple, I guess. We went to Tootsies. I took him there to start out. We went up on the roof deck and stuff. Had a couple beers up there, and then took him over to Kid Rock's place. It was a Tuesday when I went there.
Okay.
Tuesday night, and probably like around 7, something like that.
So every floor was packed.
It was packed.
Yeah.
Tuesday night in the summertime. It was packed. Absolutely packed. So
Broadway.
But I mean, the band that they had there at the time, John Stone. I don't know if you've seen him.
I know John
before.
Stone. Yeah.
Yeah. It was. I mean, they were great.
Mm-hmm.
So we
John, little fact for anyone that likes Kid Rock out there. So when Kid Rock's guitarist left him, John Stone almost jumped in to be his guitarist, and then the current guitarist that he has jumped in instead.
Really, because he's good.
He's real good.
Yeah. He was impressive.
Yeah,
so
he is good.
They were a really good band to watch.
Mm-hmm. He's gone on Kid Rock's cruise with him and stuff. He does a Chillin' the Most cruise. He's gone on that with him.
You know what I saw? Like, I started following him on Instagram. He did, being from, Boston, New England, he did Bill Belichick's Clam Fest this year.
Did he really?
In Nantucket, yeah.
That's
so
funny.
I saw that on his Instagram, taking pictures with Belichick and his wife and stuff like that. So, girlfriend, wife, they married?
Wife, I think.
Are they married?
I think so.
Whatever. So I saw him there too. So he definitely gets around the area. He's good though. So they put on a really good show while we were there. I mean, it was so good. We honestly, we didn't make it past the second floor that night. We just stayed there and watched them, and another group came on after them. So they were good though. It's a really cool setup bar. The way that they have everything with the stage and then the multiple levels and everything.
They got the big horseshoe bar kind of in the middle on the first floor, but the first and second floor kind of combine each other. Stage is like in between. Then he's got a third and a fourth floor and a rooftop. And there's a stage on every single floor and a band playing loud as hell on every single floor.
Oh, especially yesterday. I mean, we got up to the roof. We were taking the elevator up, and it was nice and quiet. And then right before you got to the rooftop level, it was just like blasting.
Yeah, elevator opened, and
like,
here you go.
There it was to all 8 people that were there.
Exactly. So, being there on a Tuesday afternoon, kind of at the end of the summer, right before school starts everywhere, it was a little bit slower. First floor was actually packed.
Are you serious?
Sorry, that was my cell phone. The first floor, second floor was jam-packed.
Yeah.
The third and fourth was, a few people running here and there. We went straight up to the higher floors.
Yeah, we just wanted to go up and check it out. We knew that, again, we knew it wasn't going to be busy, and we both been to Kid Rock's place before, so we had plenty to go on. We wanted an excuse to get out on a Tuesday.
Really,
afternoon.
an excuse just to
gotta
hit
go do
place
research.
Yeah. Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, we weren't expecting much in the crowd area when we were looking, but again, it's a great place. I mean, for us to, like, the last time I was there, again, for me to not even make it past the second floor, that says a lot. Like, usually if a place is dead or boring, you're going to be like, oh shit, what's on the next floor? Let's go check this out. Let's check that out. We didn't even make it past the second floor. We were there for, like 3 hours.
You don't need to go past there, really, unless you want that fresh air up on the roof or something like that.
No,
but
we didn't need that. It was a good time. So we did that. We
didn't eat there yesterday.
No.
We just had drinks and checking out the atmosphere. It does have, as far as like the bars are concerned, a view almost looking into Nissan Stadium from the rooftop, which is a pretty cool. Badass view from looking into the stadium.
Yeah, the view was definitely cool.
I have eaten there in the past.
Did you get the filet? I saw the filet.
I didn't. So it is a steakhouse. Yeah, they have a $48 filet. I mean, they had a tomahawk for like $75.
Yeah. I don't think I couldn't do that.
I don't know anyone that's ever had steak, although I have seen people sitting at the bar just like, chainsawing a steak. But I had a hot dog there, and it's not the best thing on the menu. I also happen to be friends with Kid Rock, and
what'd he have to say?
Told him one time I didn't think the hot dog was great.
How do you like that?
Not so much.
No.
But, it is what it is. Again, they're trying to put out food fast just like every other place there. And,
it's Broadway.
Exactly. But Kid Rock's now is basically the go-to bar for everybody.
Yeah.
It seems to be the bar that everyone's enjoying the most. It's the loudest, kind of the raunchiest. When you think kind of dirty honky tonk, this is exactly what Kid Rock's is. It's plywood floors. It's got outfits from his tours up around. It's got a lot of photos of him. It's got his VIP room, the Cadillac Pussy room, named after one of his songs.
Nice.
If you're a Kid Rock fan,
love it.
You're in heaven there. Yeah, exactly. Or if you just like
especially on one
partying at dirty honky tonks,
random nights that he shows up,
and he shows up often too. Yeah, so
cool.
He if you're in there, you might luck out and get him on stage.
Nice. So we wrapped that up, had a beer there, and then we took it to Tootsies.
Tootsies. My wife has a friend. She calls it Tooties. I think she's probably been there drunk every time and just couldn't get it straight. Yeah. So Tootsies I've been to probably 50 times.
Yeah.
Tootsies is the staple. It's really Tootsies, Rippies, Nudies. They're kind of the bars that were there before Broadway was Broadway.
Yep.
Like when you were looking to get a prostitute and you go to Broadway, back in the 80s, 90s, those things before it was like a tourist attraction.
So it's a brothel.
Exactly.
Nice.
No.
That's good.
That's Tootsie's was still there at that time, and it was kind of famous because it was right behind the Ryman, and the Ryman at the time was the Opry.
Yeah.
So the artists would kind of perform, do their thing, and in the alleyway they'd go straight through, go in there and have drinks.
Right.
So basically,
and they haven't updated it since.
Oh, they haven't. And it's it's a honky tonk. It's a dirty honky tonk with writing on the walls and glory holes. And, no, I'm just kidding. They don't have glory holes, but if you walked in the bathroom, you would look for one.
Yeah.
But it's a if you're looking for that honky tonk, good music, loud, shoulder to shoulder atmosphere, Tootsie's is your place. And
I mean, it's not very big. It's not a bit like width wise, like you can't cram a lot of people in there. It's probably
20 feet wide.
Yeah.
I mean, it's small, but it goes up 4 levels.
Just call it what it is, right? It's old, historic. Everybody's gonna want to go there, and if you've never been to Broadway, you've never been to Nashville, you have to go.
You need the experience.
You got to go and check it out.
You have not been to Broadway unless you've been to Tootsies.
Exactly. So, but you hang out for a little while, and you go to one of the better bars on Broadway, in my opinion. But I mean, you got to go and check it out. It's a dirty place.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're gonna go, you're gonna get a bunch of drinks, you're gonna start the night out there, and then you're gonna finish the night in a much better, more just a better atmosphere, I think.
We got 2 beers at Tootsie's and 2 beers at Kid Rock's, and same price, same owner. So, but it was like 18 and change for 2 Bud Lights beers at each of those. Yeah. So you're paying $9 a beer.
Yeah, and I mean, I've been there in the past where the music, the people that put on the shows and everything, I mean, they're great. Just like everywhere. I think that the musicians in Nashville overall are just outstanding, no matter where you go. I just it's hard to find a bad show really on Broadway, but
it's a lot of sing-along type music.
Yeah,
it's songs that you're gonna know.
Right.
They're catering to the crowd that knows country, 80s rock, southern rock. And they want you to have a beer in your hand, singing the song back to them, and having a good time. And that's essentially what Kid Rock's and Tootsies is all about. Is just people letting go, having a good time, listening to good music, and getting drunk.
Yep, that's it. And you can accomplish that at all 3 of those places.
Absolutely.
So, no, they were all good. I mean, again, Tootsie's, it is what it is. You got to go. You got to check it out. It's dirty. Cool rooftop bar, being right there on the corner.
All 3 have rooftops, and, that's one thing on Broadway is if you have a rooftop, you're going to be slammed all the time.
Yep, absolutely. So anything else to add?
No, I mean, don't. Broadway has a feel to it, and anyone listening, if you haven't been there, it's an experience.
Yeah.
It's not, it's every single bar there offers a different experience, and so you got to go check them all out. These were just 3 that we checked out the other day. We're gonna bring 3 more towards you, probably in the next few weeks, and then after that we'll hit a couple more, but we'll try to get all of them in at some point. Takes a toll on our schedules going down there.
If we have to.
Exactly.
If we have to do that, we'll do it for the crowd,
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, I think for me, that pretty much wraps up Broadway episode 1. Anything?
So all in all, Miranda's, I'll give for the food, atmosphere, just everything that we had, because the service was good, atmosphere was phenomenal, music at a good range, like overall. And I'm going to give this, my rating's going to be different. It's a Broadway rating because Broadway bars and local bars and things are very different. Absolutely. As far as that's concerned, my experiences combined at Miranda's, I'll give a I'll give it an 8.5, 9.
Wow.
Because the atmosphere is so good on like a Saturday afternoon when the doors are up and the rooftops open.
All right. Go ahead, rank the other two.
So Kid Rock's.
Do all of them at the same time. And then
Kid Rock's for Broadway, my opinion, 9.8. Because it is just the best way to explain it is debauchery.
Yeah.
Like it is just a fun place, and you have a lot of options for music.
Right.
A lot of options for booze, and you never know when you're gonna see him.
Yep, nice. And
then Tootsies. I had a credit card taken from me at one point at Tootsies by the waitress, and I never got it back. They lost it behind the counter, so I'm a little
what'd they buy with
jaded from
good?
that. But I'll give Tootsies. Nothing was ever actually used on it, and I never canceled it. I just said I lost it, and they gave me a new one. But I'll give Tootsies just because I have had some really good times in there too. I'll give Tootsies, as far as the Broadway rating goes, an 8.
All right. Yeah, I mean it's pretty close to like what I was gonna go with. I'm gonna go a little bit lower. I'd say. Would you give Miranda?
I gave it a 7.
Yeah.
7.5.
Yeah. 7.5. All right. I'm gonna go whole numbers. Miranda's. I mean, I think for me personally, like if I was a chick, I'd probably rate it a little bit different.
A girl's gonna rate that as far as Broadway is concerned.
They're probably
9.5 or above.
Yeah,
because
they're probably
gonna
give
love
it same as what I'm gonna give Kid Rock. So for me, Kid Rock, same thing. I'm gonna go 9. I mean that's about as good as it gets, I think, on Broadway.
Mm-hmm.
Good time there. Miranda, I'm gonna go probably like 7, and I'm gonna toss Tootsie's in the middle at 8 because it's the staple of Broadway. You have to pay your respect.
That legendary factor, like, automatically gives it like a 5 or a 6.
Yeah,
and then,
it's a good spot. I mean, it's a starting point. Again, why wouldn't you rate it that high if, like, the first time that anybody's ever coming to town, you have friends that come into town and they're like, hey, let's go hit up Broadway. What are you doing? You're going to Tootsie's every time.
Every time.
Are you going to hit every bar on Broadway? No, but you're going to hit Tootsie's. So just because of that, I'm going to give it an 8. Now, for rating cleanliness, we're going to talk a little bit different, but we're not. We're going overall. So we're going to go 8. I'll go Miranda 7, and Kid Rock's a 9.
Nowhere on Broadway you want to wear your best shoes.
Yeah. All right. So there you go. Those are our ratings. Hope you enjoyed our first version of our Broadway shows. So we just got done doing Tootsie's, Miranda's, and Kid Rock's. I gave our ratings. Again, like how we're going to end every show, anybody that has any suggestions, I know we've started to get a couple suggestions here and there, so we're going to start adding those into the mix and in the upcoming weeks. But other than that, you got anything to end on?
No, I think that's good. I'm looking forward to get out with some more restaurants and events and get some more of these out.
Yep, we already have a couple in line. So thanks again for listening, and we'll talk to you next week.
See you next week.
Download our episodes on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook, and follow us on Instagram at Nashville Scoop Podcast. I'm at The Nashville Realtor, and Craig is at Real Estate Rockstar.